We were just noticing how absolutely youthful and beautiful, Lihia, you look magnificent today. Just beaming. Who could translate for me in Spanish? So, or is it Portuguese rather? Or Spanish? She'll understand both. Anybody speak Portuguese? On here?
Eleanor is here. Eleanor, you can
Eleanor,
translate.
could you translate to Lihia that we are all noticing she just looks so
Radiant.
fresh and beautiful and beaming? Yes. Thank you.
Olá, ok, em português. Olá. Eles querem que eu traduza, né? Dizendo que você está brilhante, radiante, tão refrescada, cheia de frescor, Lígia, no dia de hoje. Todos estão percebendo o quanto de luz que você está revelando. Linda, né?
Good.
I've done
Anyway,
it. I've done it, Jillian.
You all do. Oh my goodness. Jonathan, you look like you're somewhere very warm. Jonathan PC, where are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm in Los
Hi.
Angeles, in the mountains of Los Angeles, Mount Washington.
Beautiful. Welcome.
Oh,
So
I know
nice.
Mount
Hi.
Washington.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is that?
I said, I know Mount Washington. I have
Oh,
friends-
yes. Excellent. It's a very mystical place, isn't it?
Yes. Mystical. Oh, magical, mystical. You know,
Magical, mystical. It's so wonderful. Hi.
Hi. Well, welcome, welcome. And just on that, you know, we came out of Solomon Speaks, and the beauty of moving to the before beyond, or this amazing infinite expression, is that we actually even unobscure magical and mystical, and it really becomes awe, wonder. It's no longer just the feeling of magical, mystical. So this is such a great opportunity today as we continue to delve into this month's topic. It's a funny topic, the nature of acceptance, because acceptance itself has been sort of presented to us in the human coil in a very action-oriented kind of way. So in preparing to kind of explore this today, I want to let you know we're going to be playing with some exercises. So you want to have something nearby to just write with, take a few notes. We're going to do a little sharing as well around this. And I fell into, for those of you who are familiar with Carl Jung, a really interesting little quote. Carl Jung says, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And I found that so intriguing. It resonated in a way because I think acceptance is not an easy concept always to understand. Sometimes it's accompanied or associated with confusing and even negative undertones. And I want to get into that a little bit at a deeper level. So we're going to launch into an exercise right now. So take out that pen or paper or your device. I'm going to ask you to follow this instruction. Everybody ready? Okay. I want you to write down in the form of a number. So it's going to be a number, and it can be a light recollection. How often in your life you've been asked, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? Just give it a number. What is your purpose? How often in your life do you think you've been asked that? Okay. Now we're gonna, don't overthink, just put a number down. Now we're gonna go on to part 2 of this. It's a little caveat. Now I want you to include how many times you've asked yourself, what is my purpose? And I want you to make that a separate number. If you've included it in the first question. Make a note of that if you didn't make a note of that. But in general, we're going to have two numbers. A light recollection. How often in your life have you been asked, what is your purpose? Now, how many times you've asked yourself, what is my purpose? And make that a separate number. And now I want you to add them together. And then just leave that alone. Okay. So I want to bring some of just my musings around this that Eric and I have been sharing. I've been mostly sharing with Eric around them. And I want to suggest that the more that we recognize acceptance, the nature of acceptance as one of the most potent activities we have the option to actually choose, something happens there. And as you know, this month we're exploring acceptance sort of through the practical idea of money. Again, today, purpose, forgiveness, and healing. But maybe for some of us, as we arrive at the recognition that acceptance is a choice, it's an activity, it's a choice, then perhaps really it is our most true purpose. Maybe in a way, it's actually the ultimate goal in our life. Just play with that. Understanding acceptance as our purpose then sort of rules out any subset. Money, in a way, as our purpose, becoming famous as our purpose, reading every book in the world as our purpose, anything really, even saving the world. Right? These become a very interesting sort of subset in a way. And I was sort of examining today in a Solomon chapter, layered into these epic stories of Gandhi and Mother Teresa and Nelson Mandela, Buddha, Jesus, the Prophet Muhammad, whoever in your understanding is leading this or has led with great purpose. I would suggest sort of iconically picking these specific. Each of them went through a lot of struggle to arrive at this awareness of accepting themselves fully, right? Sort of only after that journey could they have enough compassion to fully become love itself to the rest of humanity, to the rest of human beingness, right? And as such, there's a level of suffering that was alleviated in a way. Acceptance and purpose. I want you to sort of look at those through whatever might be coming up for you in this moment. And while we're doing that, I want to touch on what might be the absence of acceptance, just to give you a way to invert this idea. Judgment, judging, comparing, resisting, grasping, and striving. These are ideas that sit sort of in the inverted space of acceptance, judging, comparing, resisting, grasping, striving, and they become, as we know, vibrations of a lot of human suffering. This is a big part of suffering. So before I'm going to have Eric jump in a minute, but I want to point out that acceptance is not resignation. It's not withdrawal. It's not a passive concept or activity. It's not about being passive and allowing life to just happen to us. It's really an active process that's at the very core of receiving, at the very heart of a reconnective healing experience. And so often through a reconnective healing experience over decades and decades, we hear, my purpose has been revealed. My purpose has been revealed. So acceptance isn't about limiting a possibility. Instead, it sort of provides room for growth, where we focus on the inner music as the instrument of consciousness and respectfully pause or ignore all the noise that hovers in the mind. It's an understanding accompanied by observation, where our purpose isn't really any longer about the goal of changing events to meet an expectation. It isn't any longer about the goal of a ritual or even feelings that want to judge. Is this a good life? Am I having a good life? Right? So acceptance as a purpose, really a root, the root of purpose, supports us in the truth of everything that is beyond our control of the human coil. Or how did you say Shakespeare used it?
The mortal coil.
The mortal coil, if you're speaking about Shakespeare's interpretation, the mortal coil of perception. The reality is that there's no event in itself that can disrupt our true happiness. But it's how we judge that activity that can become a great disruptor. So we want to pay attention to the absence of acceptance, judging, comparing, resisting, grasping, striving even. The great disruptor. So before Eric takes us into an exercise, that's going to be a little writing and sharing, a big picture of acceptance, which I would say is, if I were to say, what is my purpose? It would be this, because my understanding of acceptance means that there is only divine will at play, which orchestrates everything what we'll call big, all the big things, while our finite free will works in that sort of narrower, more narrow playing field of our mind. So anyway, just laying out a little, I don't know, garden to play with around this. Do you want to?
Well,
do you want to?
I think what I wanted to share for a moment also is that sometimes the concept of acceptance becomes something that we resist a little bit because we equate it with control. And for me, I remember the idea in the beginning could get easily confused, acceptance with surrender, which could be a beautiful thing, but surrender can also, for many people, imply loss or failure. And what I found when I first began to interrupt, when I first began to accept, discover, interact was the word I was looking for, with reconnective healing, is that I was in touch with my purpose, and my purpose allowed me to move into a state of acceptance that was not my nature, that I didn't have before. And in it, I found that by flowing with purpose, suddenly the concept of surrender, for example, or acceptance, for example, gave me not loss, but gain, gave me freedom, gave me a freedom I didn't know before that.
And many millions in the world. It's funny, when we're talking about these iconic um, examples of purpose being brought into the world. Eric, in some ways, you would fall into that. You're describing the reconnective healing experience, her energy, light, and information, and the accepting of that as a purpose. And indeed,
And a
it
purpose to
has
teach
been.
about it, and a purpose to teach about it, and
Well,
share about it.
Yes.
For me, was what I had. The purpose was to explore it, and it was to share it, which might be a better word than teaching it.
So yeah, we're going to move into a little exercise. I do have a poem I want to share with you before we kind of turn it to our life leaders. But how shall we take them through this little writing exercise?
All right. So I would find something to write with or write on, pen, paper, your computer, maybe if you want to tattoo something onto your thigh, well, that's your call. And I'd like you to write down 3 different ways in which your life might be different if you allowed purpose to be your life's main theme. For me, it became about acceptance.
So I'm going to rephrase the exercise. We want you to write down 3 ways in your life that might change or evolve differently if you allowed acceptance to be your life's main theme. And we're going to use that theme as another way to express purpose. We're looking to layer this a little bit. So if you allowed acceptance in your life's main theme would be another way to say purpose. Main theme, purpose. So I know that's a little convoluted. Just play, write. We're going to take a full 5 minutes to play with this a little bit. Anybody have any questions about the question? Good. Thank you, Cecilia.
Hi, I'm Eric Pearl, and we have launched an online course called The Portal. It's an expansion of our online essentials, our level 1, an 8+ hour e-learning course.
And we decided to add content because our students were asking for more. What is a portal? It's a doorway to transformation.
It includes the 8 hours of the online essentials course,
2 key chapters, one on love and one on healing, and workbooks from our worthiness episode from the series The Inner Compass.
more than 10 hours of content.
The portal helps us discover our roadblocks that may be stopping us from living our fullest potential.
How does the portal help bring about these benefits? Easy to follow short segments with interactive exercises, information acquired not only through the mind, but through interaction with the frequencies themselves. Effortless learning and personal evolution.
It brings the possibility for instant transformation, healing, and the evolution of each and every one of us in our everyday lives.
Hey there, family. Dr. Eric and Jillian here.
Welcome, everyone.
And we're very excited about Reconnective Life, our first online global community. This is the most exciting way we've been able to get together since I founded the Reconnection. It'll be a place where we can do things together. We'll move into breakout rooms at times when that's appropriate. We'll have energy interactions and meditations and exercises. In other words, expect things you haven't seen before.
You are so charged.
Things we
He is so lit about every new way we get to be together every day. Just be together. Let us just speak a little bit about what is going to be the shape of this community.
In this community, we can share and discover more. Here we can talk to each other, we can chat, we can learn from and about one another. Jillian, me, our life leaders, and you will be in daily conversation with you. Weekly, we will have Facebook Lives.
We will be with you every Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be just Eric. On occasion, it might just be me. Sometimes it'll be the two of us. It's all about giving you a way to look at the week living in the frequencies.
And in every 4th week, we will include a live Q&A, so we can talk about the things that have been coming up for us, discuss back and forth, share, grow, expand together.
And the ever-growing library of content that has been created over 20 years that will be on demand for you. It will be on-demand content for you to view, enjoy, share again with your inner circle.
And monthly, we are going to have live Zoom retreats. We're going to bring in some exercises and experiences and things that previously we've reserved for our physical retreats, you know, when we were in the different location resorts and things. And we're modifying them so that we can work with these with you in your home, in your living room, in your den. Put into the chat line, what is facility? We're having these weekly Zoom in-depth Q&As.
Finally, they have a place and space to just define what does that really mean living in the frequencies.
This is something that is in all of us.
Everyone can do this.
It doesn't matter how many levels you've gone through or how well you know the programs. It's a community that allows us to recognize how interrelated we all are as receivers of energy, light, and information.
See you there.
Reconnective Life, living in the frequencies every day.